Looking to the future in 2023 with our housing outlook, there's a few factors we have to consider. Is Bank of Canada going to continue to raise interest rates? Are they going to pause for a little while to see what happens with inflation? Is inflation actually going to get back to 2%? Is that something that is realistic in 2023? If Canada hits their immigration targets, where are all these people going to live? And even though the demand side of the market has absolutely cooled down, that's very clear in the data, are we going to have enough new supply coming to the market? I'm going to do my best in this video to answer all those questions. And what I'm actually going to show you in a second here is I sat down with Global News Morning and we did a 5-minute interview on kind of like the entire country, but really focusing on the GTA as well for the 2023 housing outlook. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom Storey. I make educational real estate videos for you. If you like what you're seeing in this video, all I ask, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe and join our growing community. The goal is still to get to 10,000 as fast as possible. So if you've been watching these videos and getting any value at all, if you could hit that button, I'd really appreciate it. I think there's a ton of question marks out there right now when we're looking at the future of the Canadian real estate market. And for me personally, it's always going to break down to the three main pillars, right? The first pillar is going to be immigration and population growth. It looks like as of right now, those numbers are on track or even higher than they've ever been before. The second pillar is going to be interest rates. As it stands today of me making this video, look when this video is published today, right now, everyone that has a mortgage has been qualified for what they're currently paying, even with the Bank of Canada hikes. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens moving forward. I haven't yet had any of our clients come to us tell me personally that they're having issues making their payments. We had Noel Mathias on the podcast recently. He was saying the same thing. So that's something I'm going to keep a close eye on is interest rates moving forward. And the third pillar is unemployment rate. Like, what is unemployment going to be? We're starting to see tech companies make mass layoffs across North America. We're going to see how that's going to impact the housing market, what's going to happen moving forward. And really, the big elephant in the room for everybody right now is like, are we in a recession? Is the recession here? I don't think technically we're in a recession based on the definition of it, but it feels like that's something we're expecting for at least the first half or the first 3 quarters of 2023. We recently had Steve Saretsky join us on the Tom Storey Show, and that podcast is going to be out on Sunday, January the 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't already, make sure to go to the podcast YouTube channel. We have a brand new channel just for that. We're already over 1,200 subscribers, and I think you're really going to enjoy that episode. All right, now I'm going to show you the interview I did with Global News. I think this kind of sums up my thoughts on the housing market moving forward with a specific focus on the Greater Toronto area. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.
Well, of course, Canada's hot housing market made headlines all year long as prices reached record highs in this country. That was last year, as housing affordability continues to be a hot button issue for both renters and buyers. Many are hoping 2023 may cool the crisis. Of course, it's a complicated subject. Joining us now to discuss is sales representative Tom Storey to get a better look at where Canada's housing market is headed this year. Tom, always great to see you. Welcome back.
Great to see you again. Thanks for having me.
So we look at these numbers, and it's interesting when you look at the GTA. I want to start there, sure. The GTA numbers, and it's interesting when you look at the headlines. The sales numbers went down over the year from 2022 to 21, 38%.
Yep.
First of all, reaction to that?
I think it makes a lot of sense with what's happened with the interest rates. Like, I think that really is the main thing. We saw 7 rate hikes by the Bank of Canada in 2022, and that was the fastest we've ever seen them go up at that rate. So when you're looking just at like uncertainty and buyers not wanting to buy when prices continue to drop, it makes sense that the demand side of the market has totally cooled off, especially comparing it to what was going to be a record year always in 2021.
But then you look at the price for the year, and we're looking at the entire year, yeah. Right? So it's tough to sort of encapsulate this, but the price actually went up.
Which I think will be very surprising to people, okay. Right? So that year-over-year price, they're taking all the sales that happened in 2022, adding them all up and averaging them out, comparing it to 2021. So we're up about 8%. However, it's really the first 4 months of this year that propelled that and propped that up. So we look at the numbers, 1.19, and we're looking at 1.1 from 2021 to 1.9 or 1.19 rather in 2022. Not a significant difference. But here's what's interesting as well, and you can look at the year as one thing, but I think the more reflective of where things are going is what happened in December. Totally.
And so the sales went down and the price went down. But as much as people expected, do you think? What's your thought?
I think the sales went down as much as we've ever really seen them go down, Frank. Like December was a historically low month in terms of actual volume, lower than even the beginning of the pandemic when we were told not to go outside. So that's saying a lot, right? And I think you add in the fact it is December, there's uncertainty. There was the first rate hike we've had in December in many, many years. So you add that up, it makes sense. What I'm interested in now moving forward is into 2023. We still have low inventory. Like that still is going to be an issue, but a lot of it's still sitting on the market. So for the first time ever, fundamentally, we might be in a balanced out market, but prices are still moving downwards. But we're going to really have to see how much new listing comes to the market this year.
And that's just it, because the prices, a lot of people thought they would go down much more, but it comes down to supply and demand. If there's just not much out there, look, those are going to hold the prices at a relatively, decent level, because all things considered, it's still prohibitive for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think if you're the average Canadian home buyer, you're looking at what does it cost you per month. And with the rate increases, we're comparing it to early in the year where prices were way higher. Your average monthly payment right now isn't that different, but obviously it's better to buy a property at a lower price, lower mortgage, less land transfer tax, all that kind of stuff. But your average monthly cost to own a property hasn't actually changed that much.
So there's so many things to discuss here. And looking at the condo market, that's a little bit different. And also the other big thing is the rental market. That is just, do you expect that to continue to go, to record numbers?
I think it's still going to be tight in 2023. It's not going to see the same growth it saw last year. No, I think what happened was when interest rates kept going up, it pushed a lot of first-time home buyers down back into the rental market, which spiked rental prices anywhere from 15 to 20% across the country. Supply was a massive issue on that. I still think it's going to be a tight market this year. Prices are probably going to hold, but I don't think they're going to do what they did last year.
So how long do you think these interest rate hikes, how long, this is hopefully it, but how much longer do you see it having an effect into 2023?
I think it's going to be the number one thing. Interest rate hikes and what Bank of Canada does is going to be the number one thing that determines what the market's going to do. Bank of Canada has been very clear. They want to fight inflation. They want to get it back to 2%. And they're not going to go down in rates until they hit that number.
Do you think the prices are going to go down much more this year?
I think there's still a little bit of room for prices to drop off. It depends on asset class and area, and it really depends on the inventory level in those pockets. I think across the board, you could see it going down, especially now. The numbers coming out for January, February, March, April of this year, looking back, because it's always year over year, aren't going to look that pretty. That's just the truth of it. I think if you're buying a property now, it always has to be the long-term perspective.
And it's tough when you compare over the year, because you're looking at a year that was unprecedented in many ways. Real quick, I want to get into what's happening in BC and the cooling off period. This is a 3-day cooling off period. The first province to do so. A couple quick questions. We have less than a minute, but is this kind of too little, too late? And do you see other provinces following suit?
I don't know if it's too little, too late. I talked to an economist from BC specifically on this, and he actually thinks this could propel the market up 2% more each year based on their models. Now, in a cool market already, it's not going to do much. It's going to be, a lot of questions and a lot more paperwork at the beginning here. But right now in BC, it's a 3-day cooling off period, but most conditions are longer than that anyways, right?
Okay.
And if you rescind on your 3-day cooling off period, you actually have to pay a penalty. So it's not like you just walk away and nothing happens. It's the percentage of the actual price that you paid. But Ontario does like to see what BC does and implement it later, so there's a chance it could come here as well.
Look, I love talking real estate, and it's so interesting to look at where things are going. Tom, always great to see you and talk to you. Tom Storey, sales representative and always a busy man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, lots more to come with us. We're back after this.
Thanks again for watching this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. My name is Tom Storey, and remember, home is where your story begins. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can learn more about the Story Team at storyteam.ca. We also have a weekly podcast called The Tom Storey Show, with new episodes each Sunday. If you'd like to book a call directly with Tom, you can do that via the first link in the description.